Welcome back to Screen Selections, horror fans. As Halloween approaches, it's time to get into the spooky spirit with the best horror movies you can stream in October. After all, October is the month for scary movies. In today's video, we've handpicked the best new terrifying films that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, all available on two of the biggest streaming platforms, Netflix and Max. Whether you're into jump scares, psychological thrillers, or downright terrifying monsters, we've got the perfect picks for you. So grab your popcorn, turn off the lights, and let's dive into the ultimate Halloween horror lineup. We're starting off today's list with one of the greatest scary movies of all time. 1960's Psycho, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, is a groundbreaking psychological horror thriller. The film follows Marion Crane, played by Janet Leigh, a secretary who steals money and goes on the run, only to find herself at the infamous Bates Motel, run by the mysterious Norman Bates, played by Anthony Perkins. Perkins delivers a chilling performance as the complex and disturbed Norman, a role that became his defining character. Lee's portrayal of Marion earned her a nomination for Best Supporting Actress at the Academy Awards, while Hitchcock's masterful direction earned him a nomination for Best Director. Psycho received 4 Oscar nominations in total and has influenced countless filmmakers and horror films since. The film is perhaps most famous for its shocking shower scene, which redefined suspense in cinema. One little-known fact about Psycho is that Alfred Hitchcock was so secretive about the plot that he bought up as many copies of the novel Psycho as possible to keep the ending a surprise for moviegoers. He also required theaters to enforce a strict, no late admissions policy so that audiences would experience the film in its entirety without missing any key twists. You can see this classic 1960 Psycho film and the 1983 sequel over on Netflix on October 1st.
There's a reason we're supposed to be afraid of the snake.
No video breaking down the best scary movies in October would be complete without a Halloween movie. And making our list today is the 2018 Halloween reboot, directed by David Gordon Green, a direct sequel to the original 1978 classic, disregarding all previous sequels and reboots. The film brings back Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, now a hardened survivor who has spent 40 years preparing for the inevitable return of the masked killer Michael Myers. Curtis delivers a powerful performance reprising her iconic role with a deeper, more battle-worn version of Laurie, who is determined to end Michael's reign of terror once and for all. The film was well received for its return to the franchise's roots, blending suspense with brutal kills and a focus on Laurie's trauma and strength. While it didn't win any major awards, Halloween was a box office success and revitalized the franchise, earning praise for Curtis's performance and Green's direction. A little-known fact, John Carpenter, the director and composer of the original Halloween, returned to compose the score for this reboot, infusing his iconic music with a modern twist, making the haunting atmosphere even more gripping. And this marked Carpenter's first involvement in the franchise since 1982's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh my God.
What the hell is this?
When I was a kid, we had a piano that looked exactly like this.
2014's As Above, So Below is a found-footage horror film directed by John Eric Dowdle, set in the eerie catacombs beneath the streets of Paris. The story follows Scarlett Marlowe, an adventurous archaeologist determined to find the mythical Philosopher's Stone, a legendary alchemical substance said to grant immortality. Alongside her team, which includes cameraman Benji and her old flame George, Scarlett ventures into a labyrinth of tunnels, only to encounter supernatural horrors linked to their personal traumas. The film blends elements of historical mystery and psychological horror, offering viewers a tense, claustrophobic experience. While As Above, So Below didn't receive any major awards, it has garnered a cult following for its unique premise and terrifying underground setting. One little-known fact is that the movie was actually filmed in the real Paris catacombs, a maze of tunnels holding the remains of over 6 million people. This made the production not only authentically creepy, but also extremely challenging, as the filmmakers had to work in cramped, pitch-dark conditions deep below the city.
We didn't make the rules.
The police are always off track. If they watch prom night, they'd save time.
One movie that scared the heck out of me in the theater during my teenage years was 1996's Scream, directed by Wes Craven, which is a slasher film that cleverly redefined and revitalized the horror genre by blending suspense, self-aware humor, and a whodunit mystery. The film centers on Sidney Prescott, a high school student whose town is being terrorized by a mass killer known as Ghostface. The killer taunts his victims with phone calls before dispatching them in brutal yet creative ways. Neve Campbell's performance as Sidney turned her into a scream queen for the 90s, while the supporting cast, including Courtney Cox as ambitious reporter Gail Weathers and David Arquette as the bumbling but brave Deputy Dewey, adds depth and personality to the story. Scream was praised for its fresh take on slasher tropes and earned a Saturn Award for Best Horror Film, as well as nominations for its cast. The film's meta-commentary on horror cliches, delivered through the character Randy, played by Jamie Kennedy, gave it a clever edge that set it apart from traditional slashers. A little-known fact, the Ghostface mask, which has become iconic in horror, was actually discovered by the film's producers during a location scout inside an abandoned house, and Wes Craven decided it was perfect for the movie, blending simplicity with an eerie, haunting look.
Girls, it's way past your bedtime.
No scary movie list is complete without at least one film delving into the supernatural, and 2013's The Conjuring does that, and is available over on Max. Directed by James Wan, The Conjuring is a chilling supernatural horror film based on the real-life experiences of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Set in the 1970s, the film follows the Perrin family who move into a secluded farmhouse only to discover that it's haunted by a sinister presence. The Conjuring was praised for its intense atmosphere, grounded performances, and effective scares. It was a critical and commercial success, earning multiple awards from horror festivals and nominations for Best Horror Film at the Saturn Awards. The film's restrained use of jump scares and focus on building dread made it a standout in the genre. One little-known fact about the movie is that during filming, strange events reportedly occurred on set, adding to the movie's already eerie atmosphere. One such incident involved the real Lorraine Warren, who was a consultant on the film. She warned the crew about the dangers of delving too deep into the supernatural, and some of them reported experiencing unusual occurrences, including cold drafts and unexplained noises.
I saw something.
A clown.
If you need to scare the hell out of some kids and make them hate clowns forever, then this one is for you. The It franchise, based on Stephen King's 1986 novel, spans several adaptations, beginning with the 1990 miniseries Stephen King's It, and later 2017's It, and 2019's follow-up, It Chapter 2, directed by Andy Muschietti. All versions revolve around the small town of Derry, where a group of children, the Losers Club, is terrorized by a shape-shifting entity known as Pennywise the Dancing Clown, played by Tim Curry in the miniseries and Bill Skarsgård in the more recent films. The two-part film adaptation follows the losers as kids in It, and their adult counterparts in It Chapter 2, starring actors like Finn Wolfhard, Sophia Lillis, Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, and Bill Hader. It was a massive box office success and became one of the highest-grossing horror films of all time. Though the films didn't receive any major award recognition, they were praised for their atmospheric tension, strong character development, and blend of horror with heartfelt, coming-of-age themes. A little-known fact, Bill Skarsgård's terrifying portrayal of Pennywise involved a unique skill. He can naturally move his eyes in different directions without CGI. Muschietti noticed this during auditions, and it became one of Pennywise's most unsettling traits in the films, adding a surreal and terrifying element to the character.
There's something wrong with you. You're imagining things.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you believe in the boogeyman?
No.
You won't be able to go to sleep when one of the scariest and best horror franchises makes its way to Max this October. Max will be offering 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Freddy's Revenge, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 The Dream Master, and A Nightmare on Elm Street 5 The Dream Child. 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street, directed by Wes Craven, is a horror classic that redefined the slasher genre. The film follows a group of teenagers who are terrorized in their dreams by Freddy Krueger, a disfigured, clawed serial killer played by Robert Englund. What makes Freddy different from other horror villains is his ability to invade dreams, making sleep itself a deadly danger. The movie introduced audiences to the concept of a killer that operates in the dream world, with reality and nightmares blending in terrifying ways. The film also launched the career of Johnny Depp, who made his feature film debut as Glenn, one of Freddy's victims. Although A Nightmare on Elm Street didn't win any major awards, it became a critical and commercial success, earning praise for its originality and England's iconic performance as Freddy. The movie's special effects and suspenseful atmosphere made it a cult classic, and it helped establish Wes Craven as one of the leading voices in horror cinema. A little-known fact that Freddy Krueger's character was partly inspired by real-life events. Craven read about a series of mysterious deaths in Southeast Asia, where people died in their sleep after experiencing terrifying nightmares, which added a chilling layer of authenticity to the film's premise.
Angeles.
I can handle myself.
So said every bad girl in Hollywood.
And to finish out our list of best new scary movies streaming in October is the 2024 horror film Maxine, directed by Ty West. Maxine is the third installment in his horror trilogy, following 2022's X and 2022's Pearl. Set in 1980s Hollywood, the story centers on Maxine Minks, played by Mia Goth, as she tries to leave her adult film career behind and break into mainstream cinema. However, her aspirations are threatened when a series of murders in her orbit lead detectives to investigate her, while a sinister figure from her past, played by Kevin Bacon, reappears. Elizabeth Debicki plays a key role as a film director shaping Maxine's future in Hollywood. The film blends elements of slasher horror with incredible 80s aesthetics, paying homage to vintage crime and thriller genres. Though it hasn't been heavily awarded yet, Goth's performance has drawn critical acclaim, continuing the trend from her standout roles in the earlier films. The trilogy has been lauded for its bold, genre-blending style of psychological depth. A little-known fact, the film's slasher subplot involving a cult and Hollywood murders is particularly inspired by real-life 1980s serial killer lore in Los Angeles, adding a chilling layer of authenticity to its fictional narrative. And that wraps up our list of the best new scary movies coming to Netflix and Max this October. From chilling supernatural thrillers to pulse-pounding slashers, there's something for every horror fan to enjoy this spooky season. So grab your popcorn, turn down the lights, and get ready for some sleepless nights. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more recommendations on streaming movies. Let us know in the comments which movie you're most excited about, or if there's a hidden gem that we missed. Thank you for having us on your screen, and good luck with your selections, and I'll see you next time on Screen Selections.